Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Gruver and Terrie Huberman.
Well, hello there. I'm Terrie, and welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast.
And I am your co-host, Kathy Gruver, and we will start this show like we do every show with an angel card.
Maybe not.
And there we go. And it was very slow. Well, and you'll see why in a second.
Oh, boy.
The angel card for the day is balance.
Oh, boy.
And it's an angel on a tightrope, which as a circus person, I enjoy. Hold a point of steadiness and moderation. Find a point of equilibrium and peaceful coexistence in the midst of change. But that's not what we're talking about today. So for those of you who are not familiar, there is a gentleman named Lee Carroll who channels a series of entities called Kryon of magnetic service. And I have been following on and off Kryon for, probably close to 30 years. And so freaking accurate, like mind-blowingly accurate, talking a lot about things of like awakening, of magnetic shifts in the planet, a lot of geological stuff, which all has turned out to be true. Not so much politics, but like the state of the world kind of things. And they posted something the other day. It was our message for the new year, about awakening.
Okay.
And I wanted to read some of it, and then Terrie and I are going to discuss. So I'll start with this paragraph called The Dark Room of Consciousness. So let's compare this box of consciousness to a darkened room. In that darkened room, humanity has always lived. It's dark, so you don't see each other very well because it's very dim light. Therefore, there's a lot of misunderstanding and lack of trust about who is on the other side of the room. In fact, it's so dim and so dark that humanity kind of circles the wagons, as they say. This means you create barriers that keep you safe from others you can't see. There's a lot of fear about what is around you because it is dark. That's a metaphor. But that is what a dark consciousness creates. Therefore, there is mistrust, corruption, and war, and has remained so for eons. Suddenly, in this metaphor, a door starts to open that is new. It's a door that perhaps has always been there, but was never realized. The door is obvious because there's a tremendous light behind that door. The light starts to show, and it's bright, very, very bright. You might say that this crack gets everyone's attention at some level. Then you see what current human nature does with it. A new door is there. What does it mean? There are many who will say this is an evil door. It's what we were told about. It's what we were expected. Therefore, stay away from it at all cost. This comes from old spiritual programming that tells you that God is a judging force and that evil will come in the end times to capture you. This misinformation is one of the saddest things you could ever be told about the magnificent love of the creative source for you, who loves you beyond measure and who only has light for you every second of every day. So there are many of those who will never look or judge those who do as fools. They will continue in this dysfunctional box, fearing anything they don't understand. But then there are those who will say, it's light, take a look. The others will say, it's a trick. See, that scripture says that it'll be a trick. These 3,000-year-old scriptures are still used today as a template for spiritual thought, even though they represent very old ideas. There are some who will be brave and say, I want to see it for myself. I'm going to decide for myself instead of blindly believing what I was told might be. And so they go for that door metaphysically, and they get a glimpse of the greatest and grandest light that ever existed. And they will start to realize that perhaps this is what they've been waiting for. It's what you have been waiting for. Perhaps it's why you were here at this time on this planet listening to this. The door is a crack in the veil, as they say. It's the beginning of the shift. It is an invitation to look at something higher and better in consciousness that you've ever known. It's unknown quantity there, but it feels so good. Intuitively, it feels good. It's not scary or fearful. It looks peaceful and wonderful, and the closer you get, the brighter it becomes for you. As you absorb the light, you glow. The light knows your name and greets you. As you walk around that dark room, you glow from just being exposed to it, and in that glowing, you expose more light to many others. And for the first time, those others get to see one another in a different light. That's the metaphor. We call it awakening to a grander truth.
Yeah.
And it keeps going, but I'll stop there.
I mean, that's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels so true. I don't
Yep.
know, based on just my own personal experiences and then just being a guide for others. Don't you think that that is like that metaphor is like lifelike?
Yes. And this is what I love about their writing is for the most part, everything I've heard come from this hits me at such a deep
Yeah.
truth level. I don't
Yeah.
have to go, oh, let me think about that. It's just, yeah, it's true. Just like
Yeah.
I'm a woman. That's true. I
Yeah.
have I have brown hair. Well, gray hair. That's true. So there's like hook me up to a lie detector test and let me read that and I will test true on that
Right.
because it just hits me at such a deep level. And sometimes I open the emails I get from them and sometimes I don't. Isn't it funny how we pick those things?
Hmm.
And when this one came through, I was like, I need to read this. And I think this is reading it to everybody is probably the fourth or fifth time I've read it.
Wow.
And again, not the whole thing. It still goes on. It also talks about the sort of the fallacy of what awakening is.
Right.
And he talks about that and then kind of laughs at everybody, which
Yeah.
we don't have to get into today. But yeah, so that was the most recent message from Kryon.
It's very interesting. When I was listening to you, there was something came, and I guess it's just a testament to the work, the personal work that I've done on myself. I have tendencies to overthink and be overwhelmed. I am my client,
Yeah.
basically. And one of the things that really struck me when you were talking about was how when the door would open, to fear it, to automatically go to that's not good, it's bad, it's evil, or whatnot. And as you were talking, I kept saying, well, there were only two options it seemed like he was talking about. Either go towards it or go away from it in a
Mm-hmm.
way. And I'm like, and then I said to myself, well, why can't I be curious about it? Why can't I be curious about a door opening? Do I have to fear it? Do I have to love it? Why can't I be curious? That's what kept coming through. And I know that that's just a testament to the work that I've done on myself, but it's really, it was like gut punch. That was a very authentic, very real thing. And I think people, you tell me if this resonates with you. I think people have this idea of how awakening is supposed to show up for you. I mean, that was a very bold description. You go from dark to all of a sudden light. So it's obvious. But what if awakening isn't obvious for somebody or the opportunity to awaken, let's say? What
Well,
if it's not obvious for the
funny that we
for
should
them?
say that. So he goes on to say, if
Hmm.
you are starting to awaken to a larger spiritual truth, you might then think, well, I'm going to see my guides better. I'm going to experience God in a more fulfilling way. I'm going to see spiritual things come. I'm going to be more aware in an elevated consciousness. I'm going to start going into mastery, and that mastery will allow me to see spiritual things. Dear ones, this is a nice fantasy that suddenly
Uh,
angels will appear to you, but this is not how it works.
okay, got it.
You are going to change. And in that change, you start to develop a higher consciousness and you're going to start to see the results of that. It goes without saying that you can't unknow what it's there. So higher consciousness is a more peaceful and wiser state of being, but it brings with it some odd life challenges from what you have, some odd life changes from what you had in the past. Um, and then he goes through 4 attributes of awakening.
Wow. It's really fascinating because I'm going through a lot of in my head, I'm reviewing and reflecting my psychic medium
Mm,
journey.
yeah.
And when you first learn how to manage and control your intuition, it's really fun and it's really amazing. And it's almost like a parlor trick in a way, and what happens is as you start to evolve and go on your journey, you start to lose some of it. And
Mm,
this happens to every single psychic, shaman, healer, whatever. This is part of their adventure
hmm
and their path and the process. And it's hard when you're doing it professionally because someone is actually paying you money and you're like, I can't get this information. Like, alert, abort, abort. But what you learn in the big picture of things is there's an integration period that you have to go through with every level up. And that integration period has to be had in order to
Yeah.
level up.
Yeah.
And so in the awakening process, and you can call awakening anything and everything in your life. It
Yeah.
could be starting a new job, right? It could be becoming psychic where you weren't in tune with your intuition and now you are. I mean, it could be
Yep.
anything. But there is a process. And so I nothing is wrong or bad if there is a stall in your
Yeah.
progress of awakening.
Yeah.
And I think that's when people really start to freak out because they're like, oh my God, I could talk to this and I saw angels. And but the problem, if we talk about balance, oh dear, let's bring in the angel card. Oh, sometimes, and it's normal, in our awakening, we get very spiritual, right? We kind of separate a bit from the human. And then the human, because we cannot forget that we're human, the human has to come up, pop up, and play. And so that's where the integration part comes in. And all of a sudden, it seems like we've lost our spirituality, but we haven't.
Yep.
It's just an integration.
Yeah, I love that because and you and I talked about that. I had a lovely
Yeah,
reading from Terrie heading into my birthday last whenever that was. And we were talking about that sort of integration space,
that's
right? Like you
right.
can't
Yeah,
do core, like if you're going to the gym, you can't do leg day every day.
right.
You have to give your body a chance to rest. And since we're talking about this and I have it up, I'm going to go over the 4 things that he says. I'm not going to go through them
Great.
in detail, but number 1, some of you are going to start to have an odd feeling that you are shifting and changing because you're starting to understand more about the things that used to drive you crazy.
Mm.
Lower consciousness creates lack of patience and understanding. Suddenly you're okay with things that made you angry or ignored in the past. 2, you feel a disconnection with some friends that you've had for a long time. Doesn't have anything to do with what's going on the planet. It has nothing to do with the attributes on the news or some of the things that would separate you. You're just going to feel a disconnection with them. Awakening number 3, perhaps this is the oddest. Are you ready? You're starting to feel that your family is not really your family. Your blood relatives, sisters, brothers, mom, dad are not really that which is your spiritual family. You're starting to see your soul purpose and are starting to realize a greater and grander truth. And those are the 3 things he talks about. Mastery is an awakening to truths that have been covered for darkness and eons, which are now starting to become obvious for those who wish to look.
That's amazing. That's
And
so
then
good.
he's going to go on with more messages like this. And he says,
Yeah.
blessed are those right now who are going to this light, the crack in the door, and who are not afraid, for they are going to find their own magnificence in their own cellular structure and why they are here. And in the process, they are going to feel loved beyond measure. I am Kryon in love with humanity. And so it is.
It's amazing. Ah,
It just, I
I
find
love that.
it's woo, the woo meter. It's
Yeah. So
wooing,
it's okay. We're wooing.
we're wooing. Um, because I've talked to clients about this, and as soon as I say it's a channel, they're like, I don't believe in any of that shit. And I go, okay, but let me give you this message.
Yeah. Well, that's
Because
nice. Yeah.
regardless of whether or not you believe in channels, do you believe in this message? I guess is the question. Who cares where it
Yeah.
came from? Did a 5-year-old
Yeah.
say it accidentally and not know? What is the thing? If you give monkeys enough typewriters, they'll eventually become Shakespeare. Eventually just accidentally it'll stumble upon something wise. So
Yeah.
even if you don't believe in this concept of sitting down and channeling, which I do, I've seen some people do it in such an eloquent way. I've channeled sometimes. I'm sure
Sure.
you have as well. We all
Sure.
do. We've all
Yeah.
had that
Everybody
experience, I
does.
think.
Yeah.
So even if you don't believe in that, take this message and see where that sits with you.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's because awakening can be in any area of your life. It could be, oh my gosh, I just got a new car. It's my first car. Holy mama. Like now what? Right?
yeah,
So it could happen at any age,
yep,
by the way, any age at any time. And it keeps happening. It's
yep,
not a one-time deal, you guys.
nope,
Awakening is not a one-time deal. And as you level up, you'll have more. They'll be bigger and deeper, but the period between the suffering will lessen. I
Yeah.
guarantee you it will lessen. But there's that saying, new level, new devil.
Oh God. Never
Every
heard that
time,
one.
yeah, new level, new devil. But that's okay
Yeah.
because that means you're being exposed to something you haven't been exposed to. It's it's in your awareness. That's it. Things
Hmm.
are coming into my physical reality that I didn't have to deal with before, but now I do.
Yeah. Well, for all of my D&D friends out there, or anybody that watched Stranger Things, that's what D&D is like, right? You start out at typically level 3 is the way I've always played. And then as you gain more experience, you battle more things, you get more
Yeah.
gold, you level up, you get
Yeah.
new skills, but you
Yeah.
also get new challenges.
Yeah.
Because if you have a good dungeon master, they're not going to put a level 3 group with level 30 monsters. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen. But
Yeah.
as you level up, you're going to have to face bigger and bigger challenges, more and more things. More
Yeah.
things that are dangerous to you in the game, right?
Yeah.
And I have just always, I mean, I started playing D&D when it started. It's not been consistent, obviously, but I've played enough to go, there's a lot of like life parallel here. A lot of
Maybe
life
that's
parallel here.
maybe that's why so many people like it and actually play it without realizing that
Oh yeah.
they're actually doing life that way.
Yeah. Were you a
Getting
Stranger
the
Things?
lessons.
Were you a Stranger Things person?
No.
It was-
I watched, I think, the first season and then that was it. I can
yeah.
get bored really easily with
Oh,
things.
and
I
everyone
got bored.
and everyone at home was like, "How could you get bored with Stranger Things? It's constant
Ah.
stimulation." Anyway, maybe revisit. We'll have an episode on Stranger Things.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah, we could do it. Cool. This was a lot of information. Thank you, Kryon of Magnetic
Yes.
Service and Lee Carroll for the channel. I will put a link to that in the show notes so that
Awesome.
you guys can find it. And
Fabulous.
I'm Kathy Gruver. I can be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Terrie Huberman. You can find me at terriehuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Intentional Awakening podcast, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.